What's up, people? I don't even know where to begin. This is why we need continuously live coverage of what I'm doing. If you don't believe in the Matrix now, or the shakiness of the entire economic system, I know a lot of you do. I know a lot of you preach the same thing that I preach, that we are in a very peculiar place in the economy, in the stock market, in life. One moment you're thinking things are getting better. You want to ignore all the factors that you've been bred to come to realize, come to know, that people cannot being able to find jobs, a housing market that's weak, a stock market that is pretty much built on smoke and mirrors, and the general feeling in your gut. And again, I'm talking about myself, and I hope that some of you sympathize with me, and I know you do. But the general feeling that things aren't that good, and that the future, as much as this technology boom, and that there's gonna be another bubble coming along somewhere, the social networking stocks are all gonna be booming, and then there'll be the underbelly of the social networking stocks, there'll be another sector of stocks that carries the day. But we are in a position right now that it's very hard to tell what's gonna happen next. And this is why on days like this, I can laugh. I'm in 95% cash. I own some Zolt. I own some biotech stock. And pretty much that's it. Now, yesterday going back, I was pretty pissed off that the market had gapped up according to my plan, and I didn't benefit from it. I benefited from a little bit. I had some MCP and US Steel, which I sold out of yesterday. But piker size, I told you, I lost a tremendous amount of money on that Google trade last quarter. And as it stands right now, I clawed my way back. Base it, double, base it, double. The overused analogy of the baseball game, never try to hit those home runs. Chip away, base hits and singles will get you there. I proved it to myself every day, trading the CMG back and forth. It's done pretty well. The MCP, the US Steel, shorting options on the Qs. It took me about a month and a half, but I made all that money back. And now I'm looking, wow, if I had just not done that Google trade, or the last 3 or 4 gambling on options, trying to pick a side on whether or not I think the stock's going to do well after the earnings report, you don't know how these things are going to react. You never know. That's why I was talking about the straddles. But then you have to know how to analyze your options, because when the options are too expensive, there's no reason to do those straddles either. So the best thing to do is to do nothing and wait for those options to come near expiration. These weekly options have been special, awesome, great time. FFIV yesterday, last week was a 20 bagger. Not that I did it, I'm just saying they're out there. Of course they're out there. But gambling on these earnings reports, as much as they make sense, because if you analyze some charts and you're looking at your fundamentals, you think you know what you know, you want to take a shot, never go balls to the wall like I do. It's a gambling problem, I admit that. And that's why I tell you about everything I do. So here's what I'm talking about. Yesterday I was pissed off that I wanted to, I was pissed that I didn't buy more stuff on Thursday and Friday, so I was able to sell into that rally. And then that rally looked like it was selling off according to plan. And I came back and I saw everything was ripping to the highs. And it makes me feel very uncomfortable being naked calls on the Qs when the market's ripping up. I hate when the market can just rip up like that with no rhyme or reason, but it's just very difficult to remain short in this market. Now, based on the matrix theory and how the stock market is predetermined, I know it's hard to believe, right? Crazy talk. Considering the market is manipulated, predetermined vehicle, disconnected from reality, and once I see the stuff going by me. I see it. So the matrix, what did it tell me yesterday? Well, now that we've gone up considerably, and we went up and we had this really rip into the close. So I was thinking, you know what, that looks like a crescendo top. And I'm thinking that one part of me is thinking, oh boy, I really hope we don't go up more tomorrow. But then the matrix little thing tweaked in my brain and said, we can't go up tomorrow. They'll invent something that the market will go back down tomorrow to keep the market going sideways. You understand something? And, whoa, I bring this book up a lot. Woof, get a glimpse. 38,820. Okay? Now, of course, Mr. Hirsch is not saying we're going there tomorrow, next month, or next year, or even 10 years from now. What he's saying is that the market is going to go in a sideways pattern. Increased volatility, basically frustrating a whole generation of people to give up on the stock market. And then when that happens, it's going to be the biggest faux show bro in the history of the world. When that last person gives up, that's when the market's going to start to go into what he's calling the super boom. And I could see it happening. Of course, if we make it past the next rapture and 2012 and all the other doomsday things that are going to happen, the next flash crash is going to be there. You know there's going to be some sort of catastrophe, and there's probably going to be some terrorist attack in there because we've gone 10 years. And of course, I'm not wishing this upon us, but they're out there plotting. You know that. Okay, so what I say to you is, how do we benefit from this vehicle, the stock market, which is completely disconnected from reality, except when it goes down? Now, the market can't always go down, because then that is the end of the world. Forget the rapture. Forget about world wars. If the market was to continuously go down, riots would start, banks would close, and the end of the world would ensue. Because what Americans would do is, once we started struggling to the point of coming to our demise, we'd have to go start attacking other nations, henceforth starting World War III, which could come because of all this debt that we're under. Because you know we're not going to pay that debt, and you know there's going to be a war about that debt, because you know we're not going to pay that debt back. You know that, right? That's why when people are worried about that debt, oh, give it to our children's going to have to pay that back. We're never paying it back, ever. You understand? And then the dollar's not going to be worth anything. There's so many reasons, you understand? There's so many reasons not to keep your money in the stock market. And that's why there's going to be this period where we go nowhere. Bringing me back to why we're down today. Why are we down this much? Oh, the jobs report. Is that what it was? Did you think the jobs report was going to be something special today? Did you think the economic data was going to be fantastic? Did you think that things were getting better? Until you really feel that happening around you, and people are saying, you know, when you say in a common conversation, hey, how's it going? And people are just willing to tell you their sad stories, you know things aren't good. Generally, when things are good, people don't like to talk about it. They just say, yeah, everything's pretty good, everything's fine, everything's awesome. They don't get into it. But when things are bad, people like to let it out, to talk about their misery. Makes them feel better. I know I do. And I know people that are still struggling. I know people that haven't been able to find a job in 2 years. I know people that have houses on the market that haven't been able to sell, even for their reduced price, and they are forced now to basically rent their house out just to try to get some money. I know these people. And if I know these people, there's other people that know these people. So things cannot be this good. Now, let's look about what the market was telling us to ensure that we were going to go sideways. First of all, we had the high flyers. Stop going up. That's always sign number one, people. I've been involved in 3 bubbles already. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 13, 14, I've been watching the stock market. So basically, how old am I now? 40? Jeez, I'm an old bitch. But the writing on the wall, and of course it's all 2020 now. But now I want to take a look about what this LinkedIn and the Russian Google, which is looking to be apparently losing money. I'm going to have many people coming after me. I tell them to get into 36, but that's another story for another day. But generally, and I'm sure you could find this on the just search the new IPO market signs of a new bubble. Just type that phrase in. I'm sure you'll get about 50 articles. I haven't done it myself, because I just assume that they're out there. I don't need to go search But that's the sign of a bubble. The companies that are ready to go IPO, and the IPO market is about to explode. You had this LinkedIn, you had the Russian Google. They want to cash out now. They want to get their IPO money because the market has been accelerating, and they know better get your money out now before the government keeps the stock market inflated the way it is right now. Now, okay, this is all bearish talk. Where's my Dow 20,000 theory gone? What happened to that? You bastard. You told me I didn't have to worry about anything. You told me to buy and hold. You jerk off. You faggot. Ooh. But there was always a catch. I always reminded you that this was a house of cards. And at the time when the government was buying us in the QE1, the QE2, there was no reason to sell out of stocks. But then if you recently have been watching the videos, I've also told you that cash is king again. Be safe, play this volatility for all it's worth, and try to make your money and move on. Because that's what we're really doing. That's what we're really doing. I will never, ever tell you that long-term investing is here again. Maybe if you want to buy something today and hang on for 20 years, you might do all right. But the thing is, if you can learn how to get in and get out, you can make that same percentage gain on your lump sum of money than you could by hanging on to one of your favorite stocks for 20 years. And really, are you going to hang on to it for 20 years? You know you're going to want to buy something else. You know you're going to find some other stock that you like better, and you might not have a stock that's performing well enough that you want to hang on to for 20 years. And then, of course, when you sell it, it'll go up. But here's the story, kids. This is just another day showing you that we are skating on thin ice. All those reasons that the bears are out there, all those reasons and the doomsday people are out there is because all those reasons are real. You understand? And it's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to wake up one day and have the market at zero, because that would be, that is completely doomsday-ish, irrational speak. As much as it can happen, who the hell knows? But then we're all living in the streets together, battling for food. Just remember, always have weapons. And don't have an electric can opener. It's very important to have one of them hand-cranked ones. You'll be trapped down in your bunker, thinking that the electricity is going to work. There won't be any electricity in the Armageddon. There won't be any electricity in the Rapture, whatever you want to call it. The post-apocalyptic world that we're going to live in. But here's the thing.